Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. One of the most common questions I get from people who are new to the field is how to make sense of the question of whether something is positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, or negative punishment. So here's a quick breakdown on how to figure that out. Before I get started, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started. When you're preparing to become an RBT, you'll likely be given practice scenarios and asked to figure out whether reinforcement or punishment is taking place and whether it's positive or negative. The first thing you have to do is let go of any connotations of the words positive and negative, because in this context they don't mean good or bad. Rather, these words refer to whether there was an environmental stimulus added or taken away. Did something new show up, or did something that was already there get taken away? It helps to think about a plus sign for positive and a minus sign for negative. You might also have to think in a new way about the words reinforcement and punishment as well. These words are used a lot outside of our science, so it's easy for the casual meaning of these words to creep in and interfere with our understanding of the scientific concepts. Also, make sure you understand that positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, and negative punishment are all consequences to a behavior. And once again, when you hear the word consequence, you probably immediately think of punishment, like something bad happening, because that's how this word is typically used in everyday language. Let go of that as well. Consequence is whatever happens in the environment around an organism after a behavior occurs. Next, you need to learn to analyze each scenario according to the following two questions. Question 1. Was something added or taken away from the environment as a consequence to the behavior? If something was added, it's positive. If something was taken away, it's negative. Question 2. Did the behavior increase or decrease in the future? If the behavior increased, reinforcement happened. If the behavior decreased, punishment happened. Now let's go through some examples. Let's say a student is in class and decides to raise his hand to answer a question. When he does so, he gets the answer right and then receives praise and attention from the teacher and his classmates. In the future, he raises his hand to answer questions a lot more. So we're talking about the behavior of raising one's hand to answer a question in class. Now, as for the consequence, was something added or taken away? Attention from the teacher and classmates was added to the situation, so it's positive. And did the behavior increase or decrease in the future? It increased, so reinforcement happened. Next, let's talk about negative reinforcement. Pro tip: negative reinforcement is always escape and avoidance behavior. If you engage in a behavior to avoid something happening or to escape it, it is always negative reinforcement. One example is going inside when it starts to rain. Assuming the sensation of rain on your skin is aversive to you, when you go inside, this removes the aversive stimulus of rain falling on you. This increases the future probability that when it starts to rain, or if there's a warning stimulus that rain is about to start, like thunder, you go inside. Your going inside behavior increased, so it's reinforcement. The sensation of rain was removed, so it's negative. Now let's move on to punishment. Let's go back to the student from earlier. Let's say he raises his hand and answers a question and gets it wrong, and then the class laughs at him. In the future, he doesn't raise his hand as often to answer questions. Was something added to the situation or taken away as a consequence of the behavior? Something new was added. The class laughed at him. This wasn't happening before. Since he didn't raise his hand as much anymore after that happened, punishment happened. The behavior decreased. Last, let's talk about negative punishment. Let's say there's a kid who's playing really rough with his toys and throws a toy and breaks it. As a consequence, the parent has to take it away. In the future, the child is more careful with his toys and doesn't throw them anymore. So what was a consequence of the behavior? Something was removed, as in the toy was taken away, so negative. And the behavior of throwing toys decreased in the future, so punishment happened. Okay, quiz time. I unwittingly touch a hot stove and I burn my hand, and then I never do that again. Is this positive or negative, and is it punishment or reinforcement? If you said positive punishment, you are correct. A burning sensation was added and my behavior decreased in the future, so positive punishment. I'm very shy and I do a presentation in front of the class. The class showers me with praise and attention because I did such a good job. I'm really embarrassed, so I stopped doing presentations in the future. So what happened here? If you said positive punishment, you are correct again. My alarm goes off really early in the morning and I'm super tired, so I hit snooze and get to sleep for 9 more minutes. When it goes off again, I hit snooze again, and I proceed to do this 15 more times. The following day, I do it 20 times, and the day after that, I do it 22 times. What happened here? If you said negative reinforcement, you're correct. The alarm going off was removed and my behavior increased. A child cleans her room without being told to do so, and then when mom sees this, she takes her daughter to go get ice cream. As a result of this, the child goes from cleaning her room once every couple of weeks to once every 2 or 3 days. What's happening here? If you said positive reinforcement, you're correct. A trip to go get ice cream was added and the behavior increased. Let's say that a child and her mother go to the park. The child wants to swing, so she pushes another child off the swing. So then mom immediately takes the child home because she doesn't want her treating other kids like that. The next time she goes to the playground, she doesn't push anyone off the swing. What happened here? If you said negative punishment, you are correct. Access to the playground was taken away and the behavior decreased. I hope that my summary of the different types of consequences to behavior was helpful to you. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. Thank you for watching.